We're going to have to fight every single one of those 10 days to move our country in a new direction. We cannot let up, and we will not let up, because it's too important. We've got to bring change to Washington. One thing we know is that change never comes without a fight.
That's right!
In the final days of campaigns, you know, things can get ugly sometimes.
Right!
To say anything, do nothing, do anything politics often takes over. We've seen it before, we're seeing it now. The ugly phone calls, the misleading mail and TV ads, the careless, outrageous comments, all aimed at keeping us from working together, all aimed at stopping change. Well, you know what? This is not what we need right now. The American people don't want to hear politicians attack each other.
No!
You want to hear about how we're going to attack the challenges facing the middle class. What we need right now is honest leadership. We need real change.
Yes!
And that's why I'm running for President of the United States. Of great uncertainty for America.
Yes!
The economic crisis we face is the worst since the Great Depression.
Oh, yes!
Businesses large and small are finding it impossible to get loans, which means they can't buy new equipment or hire new workers or even make payroll for the workers they have.
Yes.
We've lost more than 750,000 jobs this year alone. Unemployment here in Nevada is up 30%.
Right.
Wages are lower than they've been in a decade, at a time when the cost of health care and college have never been higher. It's getting harder and harder to make the mortgage or fill up your gas tank, or even keep the electricity on at the end of the month. At this rate, the question isn't whether you're going to be better off than you were 4 years ago. The question is, are you better off than you were 4 weeks ago? So what we need right now is a real debate about how to fix our economy, how to help the middle class, how to help people stay in their homes. That's not what we're getting from the other side.
No!
You know, a couple weeks ago, my opponent's campaign said that if we keep talking about the economy, we're going to lose.
Oh, yes.
So they said they're going to be focusing on attacking me instead. That's one campaign promise they've actually kept. All they've been doing is attacking me. They've been throwing everything at us, including the kitchen sink. All 7 of those kitchen sinks. He's even called me a socialist.
Yes! Oh, we need to get back to 700 billion! Get back to 700
He's called me a socialist for suggesting that we focus on tax cuts for the middle class instead of the wealthy, instead of corporations. The other day, he took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
He said, get this, he said that I was like George W. Bush.
He's the one that's like George W. Bush.
You can't make this stuff up. And what may be the strangest twist of this very strange election, Senator McCain said that I would somehow continue the Bush economic policy. And that he, John McCain, would change them.
Yes, sure.
He denounced the president for letting things get completely out of hand. That's what he said.
He voted with him 90% of the time.
That's right, John McCain has been really angry, except during the primary, when he said we've made great economic progress. George Bush, or just last month when he said that the fundamentals of our economy are strong under George Bush, or the fact that he adopted all of George Bush's policies for his own campaign.
His side of the fence.
In fact, John McCain is so opposed to George Bush's policies that he voted with him 90% of the time for the past 10 years. That's right, he really decided to stick it to George Bush 10% of the time. Let me tell you, John McCain attacking George Bush for his out-of-hand economic policies is like Dick Cheney attacking George Bush for his go-it-alone foreign policy.
It's okay.
It's like Tonto attacking the Lone Ranger. Now, fortunately, President Bush doesn't seem to be at all offended.
No.
Because yesterday he cast his vote
I just stuck on my
early.
fingers.
Like all of you should be casting your votes early. Amazingly enough, George Bush cast his vote for Senator McCain. That's no surprise. Because when it comes to the policies that matter to middle-class families, there's not an inch of daylight between George Bush and John McCain. Not an inch.
Yeah.
Like George Bush, John McCain wants to keep giving tax breaks to oil companies and CEOs and companies that ship our jobs overseas.
$700 billion
It's
in
the
Wall
same
Street.
failed Wall Street first, Main Street last economic policy that we are going to change when I'm President of the United States. John McCain wants to tax your health care benefits from your employer for the first time in history and let insurance companies keep discriminating against people who need health care the most. It's the same failed insurance company first, your family last health care policy that we are going to change when I'm President of the United States of America. Like George Bush, John McCain partially privatized your Social Security. Leave it to the whims of the stock market. Like George Bush, John McCain ignored this housing crisis until it was too late. And then proposed a $300 billion bailout for Wall Street banks that does hardly anything to help people stay in their... Like George Bush, he wants less government. He said it again time. He has called for less regulation just this year. Now, none of us want to see unnecessary on business, but after what we've seen on common sense rules...